A wealthy man crosses paths with his childhood crush, now a struggling mother of twins, and what he does next is extraordinary. Logan Bennett, a self-made millionaire with a reputation for being cold and calculated, was making his way through a busy city street when something stopped him in his tracks. A woman sat on the sidewalk, her clothes torn and dirty, her face etched with exhaustion. Beside her were two little girls, twins about 4 years old, dressed in ragged clothing. One of them was softly crying, while the other clung to her mother's arm. "It's okay, sweetheart. Someone will help us soon," the woman whispered to one of the girls, her voice trembling but full of love. Logan's heart ached unexpectedly. Beneath the layers of dirt and despair, he recognized her. It was Olivia Carter, his childhood crush, the girl he once admired from afar, but who barely noticed him in school. Yet now, here she was, vulnerable and struggling. "Olivia?" he called out hesitantly, his voice filled with disbelief. The woman's head slowly lifted. Her eyes widened as she recognized him. "Logan," she whispered, her tone a mix of shock and shame. The silence between them was heavy, filled with memories and unspoken pain. Olivia looked away, clutching her daughters protectively. "What happened to you?" Logan asked gently, unable to mask his concern. "It doesn't matter," she replied, avoiding his gaze. "We're fine. Just leave us alone." But Logan couldn't walk away. One of the girls was crying from hunger, while the other stared at him with frightened eyes. The scene was too heartbreaking to ignore. "You're not fine," he said firmly. "Come with me. I'll help you." "No," Olivia protested weakly. "We can't." Logan's voice softened, but remained resolute. "I'm not leaving you and your daughters here in the cold. You're coming with me, and I won't take no for an answer." The girls, curious but wary, looked at him. Olivia hesitated, but the determination in Logan's eyes left her with little choice. Reluctantly, she took his outstretched hand. Logan called his driver, instructing him to arrive immediately. When the car pulled up, he helped Olivia and the twins inside. The girls were exhausted, resting their small heads on their mother's shoulders as the car rolled toward Logan's mansion. The ride was quiet, filled with an uneasy tension. Olivia stared out the window, lost in thought, while Logan occasionally glanced at her, wondering how her life had unraveled so drastically. When they arrived, Olivia hesitated at the sight of the grand mansion, its warm lights and immaculate gardens, feeling like a world she didn't belong to. "You don't have to do this, Logan," she murmured. "No more arguments," he replied gently. "You'll come inside, eat, and rest. That's final." The housekeeper, Mrs. Harper, greeted them with surprise, but quickly followed Logan's instructions to prepare a room for Olivia and the twins. Meanwhile, Logan guided them to the living room, where he lit the fireplace, filling the space with warmth. He arranged for food to be brought in. "Thank you, Logan," Olivia said softly, tears brimming in her eyes as her daughters curled up beside her on the sofa. Logan nodded, his mind racing. He knew this was just the beginning. Tomorrow, he would find out how Olivia ended up in such dire circumstances and what he could do to help. That night, Olivia found herself awake before dawn, sitting on the edge of a comfortable bed. She watched her daughters, Harper and Hazel, sleep peacefully for the first time in a long while. They were warm, safe, and content, but Olivia couldn't shake the knot of anxiety in her chest. Across the mansion, Logan was awake too, sitting in his office. The image of Olivia and her daughters on the street haunted him. He couldn't reconcile the confident, vibrant girl he once knew with the broken woman he'd found. He needed answers. A knock at Olivia's door broke the stillness. "Miss Carter, breakfast is ready. Mr. Bennett would like you and the girls to join him," said Mrs. Harper gently. Olivia thanked her and woke the twins. A short while later, they made their way downstairs to a dining room where a generous breakfast awaited them. The twins, wide-eyed with excitement, hurried to their seats, delighted by the array of fresh fruits, breads, and juices. Olivia, however, hesitated. "Please, have a seat," Logan said, appearing in the doorway. He looked relaxed in a crisp white shirt, though his eyes carried a serious undertone. "Thank you," Olivia replied, pulling out a chair and watching her daughters eat with joy. As Logan watched them, he knew this was just the start of a journey that would change all of their lives forever. During the meal, an awkward silence lingered between Logan and Olivia. Logan felt the tension, but knew he had to tread carefully. However, he was determined to learn the truth. When the girls finished eating, the housekeeper took them to play in a nearby room, leaving Olivia and Logan alone at the table. Logan leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table, and looked Olivia straight in the eyes. "Olivia, we need to talk. I want to understand what happened to you." Olivia avoided his gaze, clasping her hands nervously in her lap. "It's not a story I like to tell." "I'm not here to judge," Logan said softly. "I just want to help." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "When I saw you and your daughters yesterday, it was clear you've been through a lot. This doesn't happen overnight. What happened, Olivia?" Olivia took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a moment to gather her thoughts. Then she began to speak, her voice quiet and hesitant. "After high school, I started dating Jake Miller. You remember him, don't you? He was the most popular guy in school." Logan's jaw tightened at the mention of the name. He remembered Jake all too well, a charming but self-serving person who didn't hesitate to hurt others to get what he wanted. "Jake and I started dating after prom," Olivia continued. "I thought we were in love, that he cared about me. But a few months later, I found out I was pregnant. When I told him, I thought we'd face it together, but he abandoned me. He said he wasn't ready to be a father and didn't want the responsibility. That was the last time I saw him." Logan's fists clenched on the table as he struggled to contain his anger. "He just left you?" Olivia nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. "Yes, I was alone with no support. My parents couldn't help much, and I did everything I could to provide for the girls, but it wasn't enough. Eventually, I lost my job, and the bills started piling up. By the time Harper and Hazel turned 2, we were evicted from our apartment. Since then, we've been living on the streets, relying on the kindness of strangers." Logan sat in stunned silence, trying to process everything she had shared. The Olivia he once knew was confident and full of life, but life had dealt her a cruel hand. "Why didn't you ask for help?" he asked gently. "From anyone?" "I was ashamed," Olivia admitted, her voice breaking. "Ashamed of how far I'd fallen. I didn't want anyone to see me like this, especially not someone like you." Logan took a deep breath, his tone filled with compassion. "Olivia, no one deserves to go through this. You're not alone anymore. I'll help you and your daughters get back on your feet." Olivia's eyes widened in disbelief. "Why, Logan? Why are you doing all this?" He hesitated, but then spoke with honesty. "Because, despite everything, I care about you. I always have." Olivia was left speechless, his words echoing in her mind. She wasn't sure how to process everything that was happening. That night, as Olivia tucked Harper and Hazel into bed, she reflected on Logan's words. For the first time in years, she felt a glimmer of hope. But with that hope came fear of facing her deepest struggles and rebuilding her life from the ground up. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the mansion's large windows, and Olivia woke to the sound of Harper and Hazel giggling as they played on the carpet beside the bed. For a moment, she felt as though she were dreaming. Just a day ago, she had been sitting on a cold sidewalk, unsure where their next meal would come from. She stretched and called the girls over to get ready. Fresh clothes had been neatly laid out for them, thoughtfully chosen by the housekeeper. Olivia was touched by the gesture, though she still felt out of place in such a luxurious environment. When they came downstairs for breakfast, Logan was already in the living room, reviewing some papers. He looked up as he heard the girls' footsteps and smiled faintly. "Did you sleep well?" Harper nodded eagerly while Hazel shyly held her mother's hand. "It was the best night we've had in a long time," Olivia said, her voice tinged with gratitude. "I'm glad to hear that," Logan replied, gesturing for them to sit. "You don't have to worry about anything today. I want you to rest. The girls can play in the garden or wherever they like." Olivia hesitated. "Logan, I don't know how to thank you for all of this, but I don't want to take advantage of your kindness. As soon as I can, I'll find a job." Logan raised a hand to stop her. "There's no rush, Olivia. Before anything else, you need to recover. Don't worry about timelines. We'll figure this out together." Though his words were reassuring, Olivia still felt a weight on her chest. Accepting help didn't come easily to her, but she knew her daughter's well-being came first. For their sake, she swallowed her pride. After breakfast, Harper and Hazel ran off to play in the garden under the housekeeper's watchful eye. Olivia, meanwhile, found herself clearing the dishes, unable to sit idly. Logan entered the kitchen and shook his head when he saw her washing plates. "Olivia, you don't have to do that," he said gently. "I need to do something," she replied. "I don't feel right just taking everything without giving back." Logan sighed but relented. "If that's how you feel, fine. But for now, let's talk about the girls. Do they have everything they need?" Olivia paused, thinking. "They could use some clothes and shoes. What they have is old and worn." "Great," Logan said with a smile. "Let's go out and get what they need." "That's not necessary, Logan," Olivia protested. "I can manage later." "No discussion," Logan interrupted with a kind but firm tone. "I'll get the car." Half an hour later, Olivia, Harper, and Hazel were at a children's store downtown with Logan. The girls were thrilled, running between racks and trying on clothes. "Mommy, can I really get this?" Harper asked, holding up a sparkling blue dress. Olivia's heart ached as she saw the hope in her daughter's eyes. "Yes, sweetheart, you can." Hazel, the quieter twin, held up a pair of sneakers. "Me too, Mommy." Olivia smiled warmly. "You too, sweetheart." Logan watched quietly as Harper and Hazel ran around the store, their laughter filling the air. It had been a long time since Olivia had seen them so happy, and she couldn't stop smiling. After picking out new clothes, shoes, and even a few toys for the girls, Logan took them all to a cozy restaurant for lunch. During the meal, the twins were full of energy, chatting excitedly, telling stories, and playing little games at the table. Olivia, sitting across from them, felt an overwhelming sense of relief. For the first time in years, her daughters were carefree, their faces glowing with joy. "You've done so much for us today, Logan. Thank you," Olivia said sincerely, her eyes meeting his. Logan shook his head and smiled gently. "I've only done what anyone should do. You and the girls deserve this." Olivia lowered her gaze, a flicker of shame creeping back. She appreciated Logan's kindness, but she couldn't help but think about how she had treated him years ago. "You're a much better person than I was to you, Logan," she murmured, her voice barely audible. Logan frowned slightly and leaned forward. "Olivia, the past is behind us. What matters now is what we do moving forward." She nodded, though the guilt still lingered in her chest. When they returned to Logan's mansion later that afternoon, the twins immediately ran to the garden, showing off their new clothes as they played. Olivia stood by the living room window, watching them with a soft smile. For the first time in years, she felt safe. "They're incredible girls," Logan said, breaking the silence as he joined her by the window. "They're my strength," Olivia replied, her voice filled with emotion. "Even in the darkest times, they gave me a reason to keep going." Logan turned to her, admiration evident in his eyes. "You're stronger than you realize, Olivia. To go through everything you have and still be standing, that takes courage." She sighed, shaking her head. "I don't know if it's strength or just stubbornness, but either way, thank you, Logan, for everything." Logan smiled warmly. "If you ever need anything, you can count on me." For the first time in a long time, Olivia felt like she could trust someone other than herself. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the curtains as Olivia woke to the sound of Harper and Hazel giggling softly while they played on the carpet beside the bed. For a moment, she thought she might still be dreaming. The memory of sitting on the cold, hard sidewalk just days ago felt surreal, in contrast to this warm, safe room. She watched her daughters for a moment, their faces peaceful and free from worry. Maybe starting over really was possible. After getting dressed, Olivia went downstairs, where she found Logan in the kitchen, sipping coffee and reading the newspaper. He looked up as she entered and smiled. "Good morning. Did you sleep well?" he asked. "Yes, thank you. And you?" "Like a rock," Logan replied with a chuckle, setting down the paper. "I made coffee for you too. Have a seat." Olivia sat down, feeling an unexpected sense of ease in the routine that was beginning to form. As she sipped her coffee, Logan leaned forward, his expression thoughtful. "I've been thinking," he began. "Now that the girls are settling in, we should focus on you." "On me?" Olivia asked, surprised. "Yes," Logan said firmly. "You mentioned wanting to work again. What kind of job are you looking for?" Olivia hesitated, considering her answer. "I don't have much of an academic background, so my options are limited, but I'm willing to do anything that allows me to support my daughters." Logan nodded thoughtfully. "That makes sense, but what if you could go back to school, finish your education and get a job that really fulfills you?" Her eyes widened. "Study? That's out of the question, Logan. I don't have the time or resources for something like that." "You'd have both here," Logan said calmly. "I can help with the expenses, and I'll make sure the girls are well cared for while you focus on your studies." Olivia shook her head, overwhelmed. "You've already done so much for us. I can't accept anything more." Logan leaned closer, his tone serious but kind. "Olivia, this isn't just about you. It's about Harper and Hazel. If you have the chance to grow stronger, it'll benefit them in the long run. Please, think about it." His words struck a chord with Olivia. She knew he was right, but her pride and lingering shame held her back. That evening, after tucking the twins into bed, Logan asked Olivia to meet him in his office. When she entered, he handed her a small envelope. "What's this?" she asked, opening it. Inside, she found information about business and entrepreneurship courses. "I want you to consider taking these classes," Logan explained. "You're smart, determined, and capable. This will give you the tools to support yourself and build a better future for Harper and Hazel." Olivia stared at the papers, her mind racing. "Logan, this is too much. I'm not sure I can do it." "You're more capable than you think," Logan said, his voice steady. "You don't have to decide right now. Just promise me you'll think about it." Olivia clutched the papers tightly, torn between fear and hope. For the first time in years, the possibility of a brighter future didn't seem so far out of reach. Olivia couldn't stop thinking about Logan's proposal. The idea of going back to school and creating a better future for her daughters felt daunting, but over time, she began to see it as an opportunity, a chance to rewrite their lives. After much thought and hesitation, she finally agreed. With Logan's unwavering support, she enrolled in business courses. During the day, while Harper and Hazel were cared for by the housekeeper, Olivia dedicated herself to studying. Though the beginning was tough, each small victory gave her a sense of purpose she hadn't felt in years. Rediscovering her capabilities, she started to feel like she was building something meaningful, not just for herself, but for her daughters. Logan kept close tabs on her progress, always there to encourage and support her. He believed in Olivia even when she doubted herself, and his faith in her began to chip away at the walls she had built around her heart. Slowly, Olivia realized just how important Logan had become in her life. His constant presence and kindness were like a steady anchor she hadn't known she needed. Her routine transformed. Mornings were spent studying in the office Logan had arranged for her while the twins played in the garden. Initially, every chapter and assignment felt insurmountable, but Logan's steady encouragement kept her going. Over time, the work felt less intimidating, and she found herself thriving. One afternoon, as Olivia was deep in her notes, Logan entered the room with a serious look. She immediately sensed something was wrong. "We need to talk," he said, closing the door behind him. Olivia felt her stomach tighten. "What is it?" "I found someone from your past," Logan said, sitting across from her. "Jake Miller." The name hit her like a thunderclap. Jake, the man who had abandoned her when she needed him most. The father of her daughters, who had never once acknowledged their existence. Olivia took a deep breath, trying to suppress the surge of emotions. "What does he have to do with this?" she asked, her voice steadier than she expected. Logan leaned forward. "I've been looking into what happened after high school. I found Jake and decided to confront him." Olivia's eyes widened in shock. "You did what?" she asked, rising from her chair. "I needed to know the truth about why he abandoned you and the girls," Logan replied, his tone calm but resolute. "You had no right to do that, Logan. Olivia said, her voice trembling with anger. Maybe not, he admitted, but I did it for you. Olivia fell silent, her emotions a whirlwind. She knew Logan meant well, but dredging up Jake felt like reopening a wound that had barely begun to heal. What did he say? She finally asked, her voice tinged with hesitation. Logan sighed, his expression heavy. He admitted everything. He knew you were pregnant, but didn't want the responsibility. He said it was easier to disappear. Olivia felt a tide of anger rise within her. She had expected nothing less from Jake, yet hearing those words spoken aloud stung deeply. Did he ask about the girls? She asked, her voice trembling. Logan shook his head. He didn't even mention them. Olivia clenched her fists, fighting back tears. A part of her had always hoped that Jake might one day show remorse, or at least curiosity about the daughters he had abandoned. But that hope was gone now. Logan stood and placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. You don't have to face this alone, Olivia. I'm here. She looked up at him, her composure wavering. Thank you, Logan, but there are some things I need to deal with on my own. That night, after putting the twins to bed, Olivia sat at the kitchen table, staring at a cup of tea that had long gone cold. Logan's words echoed in her mind, and the thought of Jake loomed like a shadow. She realized that to truly move forward, she needed to confront her past. The next morning, she made a decision. Picking up the phone, she dialed Jake's number. After a few rings, he answered, his tone indifferent. Jake, it's Olivia. We need to talk. There was a pause on the line. About what? It's been years. It's about the girls, Olivia said firmly. You've never wanted to know them, but that needs to change. Not for me, but for them. Jake sighed on the other end. Olivia, I've already made it clear. I don't want to be part of this. What do you expect me to say? That I'm sorry? Because I'm not. Olivia's heart clenched, but she kept her voice steady. So, you'll never meet them? Never take any responsibility? I've moved on, Olivia. I think you should too, Jake said coldly. Before she could respond, the line went dead. She stood there, holding the phone, the emptiness of the conversation sinking in. It was closure, but it was also a harsh confirmation of what she already knew. Jake would never be part of her daughters' lives. That evening, Logan found Olivia sitting on the couch, the twins fast asleep beside her. He sat down next to her, waiting patiently for her to speak. I talked to Jake, she finally said, her voice soft but steady. As Olivia broke the silence, her voice was calm, but carried a tinge of sadness. I talked to Jake. Logan frowned, leaning forward slightly. And how did it go? As expected, Olivia replied with a sigh. He doesn't want anything to do with them. He feels nothing. Logan clenched his fists, his frustration evident. He doesn't know what he's missing. Olivia glanced at her daughters, who were peacefully sleeping nearby. I didn't do it for him, she said softly. I did it for the girls. I needed to know there was nothing left to expect from him. And now? Logan asked gently. Now, I move on, Olivia said firmly. I don't want my daughters growing up under the shadow of a father who never cared. Logan nodded, his admiration for her growing. Despite the pain, he could see a renewed determination in her. The next morning, Logan surprised Olivia with a small gift, a beautifully bound notebook and an elegant pen. What's this? She asked, intrigued. A tool for you to plan your future, Logan said with a warm smile. I want you to write down your goals and what you need to achieve them. We'll work on it together. Olivia's smile was genuine, touched by the thoughtfulness of his gesture. Thank you, Logan. I don't know what I'd do without you. You'd do exactly what you're doing now, rebuilding, he said confidently. I'm just here to make sure you have every chance to succeed. With Logan's unwavering support, Olivia threw herself into her studies, determined to create a better life for her daughters. The confrontation with Jake had been painful, but it freed her from lingering doubts. She no longer had to look back. As days turned into weeks, Olivia's life began to take on a new rhythm. Her focus was on her studies and raising Harper and Hazel, while Logan remained by her side, always offering encouragement. Their bond grew stronger, built on mutual respect and shared moments of understanding. One afternoon, while Olivia was reviewing her notes in the living room, Logan walked in holding a folder. His expression was calm, but his smile hinted at something exciting. "What's that?" Olivia asked, setting her notebook on her lap. "An opportunity," Logan replied, handing her the folder. Inside, Olivia found documents and a preliminary contract. The header read, "Project Assistant, Bennett Enterprises." She looked up at him, confused. "Are you offering me a job?" "I'm not trying to pressure you," Logan explained, "but I thought this could be a good way for you to start applying what you've been learning. It's a temporary position with enough flexibility for you to keep studying and caring for the girls." Olivia hesitated, scanning the details of the contract. The offer was generous, but she wasn't sure if working directly with Logan would complicate the emotional bond they were building. "Logan, I'm not sure I'm the right person for this. I don't have the experience." "You have more than you think," Logan said, his tone steady and encouraging. "You're learning quickly and have already shown you can handle challenges, and this isn't a favor. I genuinely believe in your potential." His sincerity made Olivia pause. She knew this would be a big step, but she also feared failing. After a moment of silence, she took a deep breath and smiled faintly. "All right, I'll do it." Logan's smile widened, his pride clear. "You won't regret it. We'll take things slow, and over time, you'll see just how capable you are." The following morning, Olivia was introduced to Logan's team. Though she felt nervous, she quickly realized he had assembled a group of patient and supportive individuals who were eager to help her succeed. The job required organization, attention to detail, and meeting deadlines, skills Olivia was determined to master. Meanwhile, Harper and Hazel settled into their new routine, filling the mansion with their laughter. Afternoons were spent playing in the garden or drawing at the kitchen table. Logan often joined them when he could, strengthening the bond he had developed with the girls. One evening, while Olivia was reviewing reports in her office, Logan appeared with 2 cups of tea. He set one beside her and took a seat on the couch. "You're doing really well," he remarked, watching her work. Olivia looked up, her cheeks warming at the compliment. "I still have a lot to learn, but I'm enjoying the challenge." "That's what matters," Logan said. "Growth comes through effort, and you're showing incredible strength." She turned away briefly, trying to compose herself as his words stirred something deep within her. "Thank you for believing in me, Logan. Truly." Logan simply smiled, and for a moment, the silence between them felt intimate and comfortable. Over the following weeks, their connection deepened. Small gestures, a lingering glance, a passing smile, or a brief touch hinted at feelings neither of them fully acknowledged. Yet, there was no denying that something was shifting. During a team meeting one afternoon, Olivia presented an idea to streamline the logistics of a project. Her suggestion was met with surprise and approval from the group. Logan, clearly proud, didn't hide his smile. "Excellent suggestion, Olivia," he said warmly. "We'll implement this right away." She thanked him, feeling a sense of confidence and fulfillment she hadn't experienced in years. At the end of the day, as they walked to the parking lot, Logan stopped and looked at her. "Olivia, do you realize how much you've grown since you came here?" She shook her head, smiling softly. "I still feel like I have so much to prove." Logan's expression softened. "You don't need to prove anything to anyone." "You're already amazing just as you are," Logan said, his voice steady and sincere. Olivia's heart raced, and for a moment, everything around them seemed to fade. Logan took a step closer, as though he wanted to say more, but the sound of the twins running toward them broke the moment. "Mommy, look what we made!" Harper and Hazel called out, holding up colorful drawings with big smiles on their faces. Olivia laughed and knelt to hug them. "These are beautiful, my loves," she said warmly. Logan watched the scene unfold with a smile, feeling a deep sense of happiness just being in their presence. Later that night, as Olivia tucked the girls into bed, she reflected on how drastically her life had changed over the past few months. Logan's unwavering support, the love he showed her daughters, and the way he encouraged her to keep moving forward meant more to her than she could ever express. Yet, as she lay in bed, a mix of gratitude and apprehension washed over her. She knew she was falling for Logan, but the fear of opening her heart again held her back. Meanwhile, Logan found himself thinking about Olivia more and more. Her strength, resilience, and unwavering dedication to her daughters were qualities he admired deeply. Despite their complicated past, he felt there was something special between them, something worth exploring. In the weeks that followed, those feelings grew stronger, becoming impossible to ignore. The quiet nights at Logan's mansion became moments of reflection for both of them. Olivia often sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the dimly lit room, thinking about how far she'd come. But despite all the progress, the weight of her past still lingered. Logan, on the other hand, spent his nights in the living room, staring at the fire flickering in the fireplace. He couldn't shake the feeling that Olivia was holding something back, and he knew they needed to have an honest conversation to move forward. The next morning, as Harper and Hazel played in the garden, Logan found Olivia in the kitchen unpacking groceries. He watched her quietly for a moment before speaking. "Olivia, can we talk?" he asked, his tone serious. She turned to him, sensing that this wasn't an ordinary conversation. "Of course. What is it?" Logan gestured for her to join him in the living room. Once they were seated, he took a deep breath and began. "There's something I've been meaning to say for a while, but I wasn't sure how." Olivia leaned forward slightly, her heart beginning to race. "Go ahead," she urged. "I admire your strength and resilience," Logan said earnestly, "but I can see that you're still carrying a lot of guilt. I think it's time for you to let it go." Olivia looked away, his words hitting a sensitive chord. "Logan, I've made so many mistakes in the past," she admitted quietly. "I made choices that brought me here, and sometimes I feel like I don't deserve the life you're offering me." Logan shook his head firmly. "No one is perfect, Olivia. We all make mistakes, but what matters is what you're doing now. You're overcoming your challenges, building a better life for your daughters. You deserve this, and so much more." His words felt like a soothing balm on wounds she had long tried to ignore. Olivia took a deep breath, summoning the courage to confront her lingering doubts. "Logan," she began hesitantly, "I've never apologized for how I treated you when we were younger. I was selfish and immature. I didn't value the people around me, and I hurt you. I'm so sorry for that." Logan was silent for a moment, letting her words sink in. Then he said gently, "Olivia, the past doesn't matter anymore. We've both changed. What matters now is what we're building together. I forgive you, and I hope you can forgive yourself." Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes, but this time they weren't from sadness. She felt an immense weight being lifted from her shoulders. She looked at Logan, who met her gaze with calm understanding. "Thank you, Logan," she said softly, her voice full of emotion, "for everything." "You don't need to thank me," Logan replied with a warm smile. "You're the one doing the hard work. I'm just here to support you." In that moment, Olivia felt something shift within her. For the first time, she allowed herself to believe that she was worthy of happiness, and that perhaps it was already within reach. "I'm here because I want to be," Logan said, his voice steady and filled with conviction. That moment marked the beginning of a new chapter for both of them. The weight of the past began to lift, and for the first time, they felt ready to fully open their hearts to one another. In the days that followed, Olivia noticed a newfound lightness in her heart. She poured herself into her work and studies with renewed energy, while Logan continued to support her at every step. One evening, after tucking Harper and Hazel into bed, Olivia wandered outside to the garden. She found Logan sitting in one of the rocking chairs, bathed in soft moonlight, his face thoughtful. "Are you okay?" Olivia asked as she took a seat beside him. Logan smiled faintly. "Yeah, I was just thinking about how much has changed. When I saw you that night on the sidewalk, I never imagined we'd end up here." "Neither did I," Olivia admitted, her voice soft. "But I'm glad it happened." "Me too," Logan replied. The silence between them was comfortable, as if no words were needed. Logan turned to look at Olivia, the moonlight reflecting in her eyes. He hesitated but asked, "Do you believe in second chances?" Olivia smiled, considering his question. "I think I'm starting to." Encouraged by her response, Logan nodded. He knew something special was growing between them, something they both needed, but he also knew they needed time to let it solidify. The next morning, Logan surprised Olivia and the twins with a plan for a day trip to a nearby farm. Harper and Hazel were ecstatic at the idea, and Olivia, though taken aback, was grateful for the chance to spend quality time together. The day was filled with laughter and unforgettable moments. The twins fed animals, ran through open fields, and indulged in homemade ice cream. Olivia found herself more connected to Logan than ever before. He seemed so natural and at ease, as though he had always been part of their family. On the drive home, Harper and Hazel were fast asleep in the back seat, their little faces peaceful with joy. Olivia glanced at Logan as he drove, a soft smile on his face. "Thank you for today," she said quietly. "There's no need to thank me. It was a special day for all of us," Logan replied warmly. "It was," Olivia agreed, her voice full of emotion. "And it meant so much to me to see the girls so happy." "This is just the beginning, Olivia," Logan said confidently. "There are many more moments like this ahead of us." She smiled, feeling her heart warm at his words. For the first time in years, she believed the future could truly be bright. When they returned home, Logan carried the twins to their room, carefully tucking them in and making sure they were comfortable. Olivia watched from the doorway, moved by the tenderness and care he showed her daughters. That night, as she lay in bed, Olivia felt ready to let go of her fears and the pain of her past. Logan was right. Second chances did exist, and she wouldn't waste the one she had been given. The mornings at Logan's mansion were now full of life. Harper and Hazel's laughter echoed through the halls, filling the once quiet space with joy. Logan, who had once been consumed by work, now found himself deeply involved in the twins' lives and in Olivia's journey of growth. One morning, Logan invited Olivia to accompany him to an important business meeting. It was an opportunity for her to observe how he navigated negotiations and led his team. Excited but nervous, Olivia prepared for the day, determined to make a good impression. "Are you ready?" Logan asked, waiting for her by the door. "More or less," Olivia said with a nervous laugh. "I just hope I don't mess up." "You'll do great, Olivia. Trust yourself," Logan reassured her with a smile. When they arrived at the company building, Olivia was struck by its grandeur. Logan led her to the meeting room, where several executives were already gathered. He introduced her as a promising collaborator, and though the words made her feel proud, she also felt a bit self-conscious. During the meeting, Olivia listened attentively, absorbing everything. To her surprise, Logan encouraged her to share some of her ideas. She hesitated but spoke up, offering her thoughts. Her suggestions were well received. One executive even said, "You have a very clear perspective." "Thank you," Olivia replied modestly. "I'm still learning, but I'm glad I could contribute." Logan watched her with pride, his satisfaction evident. He had always known Olivia was capable, but seeing others recognize her abilities made the moment even more rewarding. After the meeting, Logan took her to a nearby cafe. They sat at an outdoor table, enjoying the fresh air. Olivia, now more relaxed, sipped her cappuccino. "You were amazing today," Logan said, his voice full of admiration. "I was so nervous," Olivia admitted, "but it was exciting to be part of it." "This is just the beginning," Logan said confidently. "You're building something solid, Olivia." She looked at him, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "None of this would have been possible without you, Logan. You believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself." Logan smiled warmly. "All I did was show you the way. The rest, you've done on your own." "The credit is all yours," Logan said with a gentle smile. Their conversation was interrupted by a call from the housekeeper, letting Olivia know that Harper and Hazel were asking for her. Logan chuckled softly. "Looks like your little ones miss you." Olivia laughed. "They're attached. They can't stay away for long." When they returned home, the twins ran toward Olivia, wrapping their arms tightly around her. Logan stood nearby, watching the scene unfold with a growing sense of connection. He loved the girls' boundless energy and the way their laughter could light up even the darkest corners of his home. Later that afternoon, Logan decided to organize a small picnic in the garden. Harper and Hazel were thrilled, eagerly helping pack a basket with sandwiches, fruit, and juice. Olivia sat on a blanket spread out on the lawn, watching the girls run around with Logan. "You're getting more and more comfortable with them," Olivia said as Logan sat down beside her. "They're incredible kids," he replied warmly. "It's impossible not to grow attached." "Thank you for being so good to them, Logan," Olivia said, her voice tinged with emotion. "They feel safe and happy here, and that's all I've ever wanted." Logan's expression softened. "They're a part of you, Olivia, and for me, that's enough." His words touched Olivia deeply, and she felt her heart race. She knew her feelings for Logan had grown into something much deeper than gratitude, but the fear of fully opening her heart still lingered. As night fell, Harper and Hazel finally grew tired and fell asleep in their mother's arms. Logan helped Olivia carry them to their room, and together they tucked the girls in with care. As they stepped into the hallway, Olivia paused and looked at Logan. "You've changed our lives. You know that." Logan held her gaze. "You've changed mine too." The intensity in his eyes made Olivia feel both vulnerable and safe at the same time. She knew she couldn't ignore what she was feeling any longer. Later that evening, Olivia was in the kitchen preparing a cup of tea when Logan walked in. He stood quietly for a moment, watching her, before stepping closer. "Olivia, there's something I need to say," he began, his voice calm but serious. She turned to face him, her heart beginning to beat faster. "What is it?" Logan hesitated for a brief moment before speaking honestly. "Since you came here, my life has completely changed. You and the girls have brought something into my world that I didn't even realize was missing. I care about you, Olivia, far more than I can put into words." His confession hit her like a wave, leaving her momentarily speechless. Finally, she smiled, her eyes glistening. "Logan, I care about you too, but all of this, it's still so new to me. I need time." Logan nodded, his expression soft and understanding. "I understand. I'm not asking you to rush. I just wanted you to know how I feel." Their moment was interrupted by a faint noise from upstairs. Harper had woken up and was calling for her mother. Olivia smiled apologetically. "I'll go check on her." As she left, Logan remained in the kitchen, his eyes falling on the teacup she had abandoned on the counter. He let out a soft sigh. Winning Olivia's complete trust would take time, but he was willing to wait. What he felt for her and the girls was worth every moment of patience. In the days that followed, Olivia and Logan's relationship continued to grow. Their bond was marked by small, meaningful moments, and with each passing day, Olivia found herself opening up to him more. Logan, in turn, remained patient, giving her the space she needed to heal and rebuild her trust. One overcast afternoon, Olivia was in Logan's office reviewing reports he had assigned her. The sky outside was dark with clouds, signaling an impending storm. Olivia's confidence in her abilities had grown, but she still approached her work with the seriousness of someone who understood how much this opportunity meant for her new life. Logan entered the office carrying 2 cups of coffee. He placed one beside Olivia and sat across from her, observing her for a moment before speaking. "You're doing really well, you know," he said casually. Olivia looked up, surprised by his tone. "I'm trying, but I still feel like there's room for improvement." "You're hard on yourself," Logan replied, a hint of admiration in his voice. "That's a good trait, but I want you to know, I'm proud of everything you're accomplishing." Her cheeks flushed slightly, and she turned her gaze back to the computer screen. There was something in Logan's voice, a warmth that went beyond professional praise, and it was impossible to ignore. Time seemed to pass quickly as their bond deepened naturally. Logan continued to find ways to show his support, through small gestures, thoughtful words, and moments that made Olivia feel truly seen and appreciated. On her end, she noticed herself beginning to trust again, not just Logan, but her own ability to embrace a brighter future. Olivia gradually began to lower the protective walls she had built around herself, though a subtle guard remained. One evening, after Harper and Hazel had gone to bed, Logan invited her to join him on the terrace. She hesitated at first, but let her curiosity guide her. When they stepped outside, Olivia was struck by the breathtaking view. The city lights shimmered like distant stars, and the cool night air brought a sense of calm that stood in stark contrast to the usual bustling energy of New York. Logan stood beside her, his gaze fixed on her rather than the view. I used to come up here when I needed to think, he said softly. But lately, I don't feel that need anymore. I think it's because I found something that brings me more peace. Olivia turned to him, sensing there was more behind his words. What brings you that peace, Logan? You, he replied without hesitation. His words caught her off guard, leaving her momentarily speechless. Logan took a small step closer, closing the distance between them. From the moment I saw you that night, something inside me changed. And as we've spent more time together, I've realized that what I feel for you is unlike anything I've ever experienced. Olivia's heart raced. She had felt her own feelings for Logan growing, but hearing his confession made it all feel much more real. Logan, this is all so new for me, she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. I'm still trying to find my footing, to be strong for myself and the girls. I'm not asking you to rush, Olivia, Logan reassured her gently. I just wanted you to know how I feel. She looked into his eyes and saw a sincerity she couldn't ignore. For the first time in years, she felt as though it might be safe to open her heart again. I feel something for you too, Logan, she admitted, but I need time. I need to be sure I'm ready to move forward. Logan nodded, his expression calm and understanding. I'll wait as long as it takes. Their moment was interrupted by the distant rumble of thunder, signaling an approaching storm. Olivia glanced toward the horizon, feeling the cool breeze on her face. We should head inside before it starts raining, she suggested. Logan agreed, but as they moved inside, the look in his eyes made it clear that something had shifted between them. In the days that followed, the air between Olivia and Logan grew more emotionally charged. Their conversations carried a depth that hadn't been there before, and every shared glance seemed to hold unspoken meaning. One evening, Logan decided to surprise Olivia with a special dinner. He asked the housekeeper to look after the twins and took it upon himself to prepare the meal. When Olivia came downstairs and saw the elegantly set table, complete with candles and fresh flowers, she was stunned. You did all this? She asked in disbelief. I wanted to do something special for you, Logan replied with a warm smile. During dinner, their conversation flowed easily. They talked about work, childhood memories, and dreams for the future. It was the kind of effortless connection Olivia hadn't experienced in years. I never imagined I'd be here with this chance to start over, Olivia said, her voice filled with reflection. If it weren't for you, Logan, I don't know where we'd be. You'd be somewhere, fighting like you always have, Logan said sincerely. I just had the privilege of helping. But it was more than that, Olivia said, her voice softening. You believed in me when no one else did. That makes all the difference. Logan reached across the table and took her hand. I'll always believe in you, Olivia. Always. His touch was warm and steady, and Olivia felt her walls begin to crumble. She knew she still had fears, but she also knew that Logan was unlike anyone she had ever met. When dinner ended, Logan walked her to her bedroom door. They stood there for a moment, the silence between them charged with unspoken emotion. Good night, Logan, Olivia said softly, offering him a gentle smile. Good night, Olivia, he replied. As she closed the door, Olivia leaned against it, her heart racing. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to imagine a future where she wasn't alone. Meanwhile, Logan walked down the stairs with a quiet smile. He knew the journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but he was willing to take every step needed to win Olivia's heart completely. That night, as rain finally began to fall, both Olivia and Logan drifted to sleep with a sense of hope, as though the future was finally beginning to take shape. Their daily lives settled into a rhythm that surprised them both. Harper and Hazel grew increasingly attached to Logan, and he, in turn, showed genuine affection for them. Yet, Olivia still had moments of doubt, not about her feelings for Logan, but about whether she was ready to trust someone completely again. One afternoon, while Olivia was working in the office on a set of reports, her phone buzzed on the desk. It was a message from an unknown number. She opened it to find a photo of Logan talking to an elegant woman at a restaurant. The caption read, "Do you really know who he is?" Olivia's heart raced. While she knew Logan had a professional life that included meetings and networking, the message unsettled her. The doubts she had worked so hard to suppress began creeping back. Who was this woman? And why would someone send her a message like this? Logan arrived home later that day, his demeanor relaxed. He found Olivia in the living room, watching Harper and Hazel play. The tension in her posture immediately caught his attention. "Are you okay?" Logan asked, sitting beside her. Olivia hesitated before showing him the message on her phone. "I got this today," she said quietly. Logan frowned as he looked at the image. "That was a business meeting," he explained. "She's a consultant I'm hiring for a project." Olivia wanted to believe him, but the message had cast a shadow over her trust. "Why would someone send this to me, Logan? It feels like they're trying to warn me about something," Olivia said, her voice tinged with uncertainty. Logan shook his head. "I don't know, but I can find out. Olivia, you have to trust me. I would never do anything to hurt you." His voice was steady, his tone filled with genuine sincerity. Olivia looked into his eyes and saw something undeniable, the transparency of someone with nothing to hide. "I want to trust you, Logan," she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. "But this caught me off guard. My whole life has been filled with disappointments, and it's hard to ignore that fear." Logan gently took her hands in his, giving them a reassuring squeeze. "I understand, Olivia. I won't pressure you, but I want you to know that I'm here. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it together." In the days that followed, Logan made it his mission to uncover the source of the mysterious message. After thorough investigation, he discovered it had been sent by a disgruntled former employee he had let go months earlier. He presented Olivia with the evidence, proving there was nothing to worry about. Olivia felt a mix of relief and guilt. She realized that she was still learning to trust again, but Logan's unwavering commitment showed her he was willing to do whatever it took to reassure her. One night, after tucking the twins into bed, Olivia found herself standing outside Logan's office. Gathering her thoughts, she knocked lightly before stepping inside. Logan looked up from the documents on his desk. "Can we talk?" she asked, closing the door behind her. "Of course. What's on your mind?" Logan replied, setting aside his papers. Olivia sat in the chair across from him, taking a deep breath. "I want to apologize for doubting you. That message shook me, and I know it doesn't excuse my lack of trust. You've always been honest with me, and I need to be fair to you." Logan smiled gently. "You don't need to apologize, Olivia. I know how hard it is for you to let your guard down. I'm here to help, not to judge." His words struck a chord, and Olivia felt tears welling in her eyes. "You're so different from anyone I've ever known, Logan. It scares me, but it also makes me want to believe that I can be happy again." Logan stood and walked around the desk, kneeling by her side. He reached up and gently wiped away a tear that had escaped down her cheek. "You can be happy, Olivia, and you don't have to do it alone." That night, something shifted between them. The walls Olivia had carefully built over the years began to crumble, and for the first time, she allowed herself to believe that happiness was within reach. The following days were filled with moments of closeness that grew increasingly meaningful. Logan's patience and care never wavered, and Olivia slowly began to trust him fully. One afternoon, they took Harper and Hazel to the park. As Logan watched Olivia playing with the girls, an unshakable certainty settled in his heart. This was the life he wanted. He wanted to be with Olivia and the twins, forever. When they returned home, Logan asked the housekeeper to watch the girls for a few hours. He took Olivia to the mansion's terrace, the same spot where they had shared a pivotal conversation months earlier. "Olivia," Logan began, his voice steady, "there's something I need to say." She turned to him, her heart racing. "What is it?" Logan reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. He opened it to reveal a delicate ring. "I want to spend the rest of my life with you and the girls. You've brought light and joy into my world in a way I never thought possible. Olivia, will you marry me?" Tears filled Olivia's eyes as she covered her mouth, overwhelmed by emotion. "Logan, yes, I will." Logan smiled as he slipped the ring onto her finger, pulling her into a warm embrace. The storm that had defined the beginning of their journey had finally passed, and they were ready to start a new chapter together. As the twins slept peacefully in the next room, Olivia and Logan stayed up talking about their future. They planned a simple wedding, surrounded by the people who had become part of their new life. Harper and Hazel were thrilled at the idea of being flower girls, and Logan involved them in every detail, from choosing flowers to picking out dresses. Despite the joy surrounding the preparations, Olivia knew there was one last piece of her past she needed to confront. While she had accepted that Jake, the twins' biological father, would never take responsibility, she felt it was necessary to face him one final time before she could fully move on. "Logan, I need to talk to Jake again," Olivia said one evening as they stood on the terrace. Logan frowned, concern evident on his face. "Do you think that's really necessary?" "Yes," she replied firmly. "Not for him, but for me. I need to close this chapter once and for all." Logan took her hand, his gaze filled with understanding. "If that's what you need, I'll be by your side." The next day, Logan managed to track down Jake's address. Olivia decided to meet him alone, but she felt reassured knowing Logan was just a phone call away. When she arrived, she found Jake standing outside a small bar, visibly worn down by the years and the choices he had made in life. "Olivia," Jake said, surprised to see her. "Yes, it's me," she replied, her tone steady. "We need to talk." Jake sighed and gestured for her to follow him to a corner table inside the bar. He looked uneasy, as though hoping the conversation wouldn't take long. "Why are you here?" he asked, his voice tired. "I'm here to tell you I don't expect anything from you anymore," Olivia said calmly. "You made your choice years ago, but the girls deserve to know that I did everything I could to give them the best. And now, I'm moving on." Jake sat in silence, staring at the empty glass in front of him. "I know I failed, Olivia," he said finally, "but I don't know how to be a father. I never did." "That doesn't matter anymore," Olivia said, her voice unwavering. "They have someone who loves them as if they were his own. Logan is everything you never were, and never will be." Jake didn't respond, but the look in his eyes showed he understood the weight of her words. Olivia stood, feeling lighter than she had in years. She had said everything she needed to. As she left the bar, a sense of closure washed over her. When Olivia arrived home, she found Logan in the yard with Harper and Hazel, helping them set up a play tent. He looked up as she approached. "How did it go?" Logan asked gently. "It went the way it needed to," Olivia replied, her voice steady. "Now I'm truly ready to move on." Logan smiled and pulled her into a hug. "I'm proud of you." In the days that followed, Olivia turned her full attention to the wedding preparations and her new life with Logan and the girls. For the first time, she felt she had found not just a home, but a sense of belonging. The laughter of Harper and Hazel filled the house, and Logan's unwavering love surrounded her like a comforting embrace. On the morning of the wedding, Olivia stood in front of the mirror in an elegant white dress, nerves and excitement swirling in her chest. She looked at her reflection and thought about how far she had come. The twins, dressed like little princesses, burst into the room holding small flower bouquets. "You look beautiful, Mommy," Harper exclaimed, her eyes shining with admiration. "Thank you, my darlings," Olivia replied, her voice warm with emotion. "And you both look stunning, too." With her heart full, Olivia walked down the aisle to where Logan was waiting. Their eyes met, and in that moment, all her doubts faded. Logan's steady gaze reassured her that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The wedding was simple, but overflowing with love and meaning. Every word in their vows affirmed the bond they had built, not just as a couple, but as a united family. When the ceremony ended, Harper and Hazel ran into Olivia and Logan's arms, squealing with joy. The future that had once seemed so uncertain was now filled with the promise of happiness and togetherness. After the wedding, Logan's mansion felt even more alive. Harper and Hazel quickly embraced the idea of having a complete family, and Olivia found herself finally at peace with her place in the world. Their days were filled with laughter, love, and small, tender moments as they settled into their new routine. On her first morning as a married woman, Olivia woke to the sound of birds chirping outside the garden. She turned to find Logan beside her, watching her with a peaceful smile. "Good morning, Mrs. Bennett," he said, his voice warm and playful. She smiled back, still adjusting to her new last name. "Good morning. Ready to start our new life?" "More than ready," Logan replied. The first months of their marriage were filled with gratitude and renewal. Together, they embraced the life they had built, a life defined by love, trust, and a family that felt complete at last. Olivia balanced her work and studies, while Logan continued to be a dedicated father figure to Harper and Hazel. He made it a priority to be present for every important moment in their lives, from small school achievements to bedtime stories. His commitment to the family only deepened as they settled into their new life together. One afternoon, while organizing paperwork in the office, Olivia began to feel lightheaded. Assuming it was just fatigue, she decided to rest. However, the symptoms persisted over the following days. Logan noticed her exhaustion and insisted she see a doctor. "It's just exhaustion, Logan. I'm fine," Olivia tried to reassure him. "It might be, but it won't hurt to check. I want to make sure you're taking care of yourself," Logan replied, his concern evident. Reluctantly, Olivia agreed and scheduled an appointment. Though she felt a bit anxious, she didn't expect any major news. After a routine examination, however, the doctor delivered life-changing news. "Congratulations, Mrs. Bennett, you're pregnant." Olivia sat in silence, processing the words. Pregnant. The thought of having a child with Logan filled her with joy and surprise. When she returned home, she found Logan in the living room, playing with Harper and Hazel. Watching him interact with the girls reassured her that this was the perfect moment to share the news. "Logan, can we talk for a moment?" Olivia asked, her tone serious. Logan noticed the shift in her demeanor and gently asked the girls to play in their room. Once they were alone, he stepped closer, curious. "What is it, Olivia?" Taking a deep breath, Olivia steadied herself. "Logan, I went to the doctor today and I found out I'm pregnant." Logan froze for a moment, processing her words. Then a huge smile spread across his face. "You're pregnant?" Olivia nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "Yes, we're going to have a baby." Overwhelmed with joy, Logan pulled her into a tight embrace. "This is amazing, Olivia. I don't even know what to say." The following weeks were filled with excitement as they began preparing for the new addition to their family. Harper and Hazel were thrilled at the idea of becoming older siblings. They eagerly helped Olivia pick out baby clothes and decorate the nursery, filling the house with even more joy. One quiet evening, as they watched the twins sleep, Olivia and Logan reflected on how much they had overcome to reach this moment. "It feels like we've been through so much in such a short time," Olivia said, gently caressing her growing belly. "And every challenge brought us to this," Logan replied, his voice filled with gratitude. "I'm happier than I ever thought I could be." Olivia smiled, grateful to have Logan by her side. Despite the hardships they had faced, they were building a life full of love and hope. The pregnancy brought the family even closer. Logan was attentive, always ensuring Olivia was comfortable, while Harper and Hazel eagerly awaited the arrival of their baby brother. Every detail of their preparation was filled with care and excitement. However, as with any journey, there were moments of concern. During a routine checkup, the doctor advised Olivia to get more rest due to a slight risk of complications. When Logan heard this, he became even more dedicated, taking on many daily tasks to ensure Olivia could relax. "I don't want you to worry about anything except taking care of yourself and the baby," he said firmly but gently. Olivia chuckled softly. "You're spoiling me too much, Logan." "You deserve all the care in the world, Olivia," Logan replied with a warm smile. The months flew by, and before they knew it, the due date was near. On a calm evening, as a gentle breeze swayed the curtains, Olivia went into labor. Logan remained calm, though his emotions were evident. He quickly took her to the hospital. Hours later, the sound of a baby's cry filled the delivery room, bringing indescribable joy to their hearts. It was a boy, healthy and strong. Logan held the baby in his arms, overwhelmed with emotion, while Olivia watched them with tears of happiness. "Welcome to the family, my son," Logan said, his voice thick with emotion. Harper and Hazel, who had been eagerly waiting in the hallway, were brought in to meet their baby brother. They were delighted, promising to always care for and protect him. Life at Logan's mansion now felt complete. What once seemed like an unlikely family had become a shining example of love, unity, and resilience. Each challenge had made them stronger, and the future seemed brighter than ever. As Logan cradled the baby in his arms and Harper and Hazel played nearby, Olivia felt a profound sense of peace. She had finally found what she had always longed for, a home filled with love and a family who would do anything for one another. What did you think of Logan and Olivia's story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and check out more heartwarming tales by clicking on the end screen.